I think we can make the city more environment friendly, sustainable. And we're also converting a lot of our old fleet into CNG, and there's an electric bus, and there's a tram, and there are people walking, and there are people who are taking the cycles. I think overall the city will become more vibrant and sustainable. A few trolley buses may come. We already have been in touch with someone who's getting a trolley bus from Ukraine, and we'll try it in a few months. If that is successful, we can go towards that. So the trams remain, and in the form of a mix of old trams and trolley buses. So the overhead wires are used. And electric buses increase over the next 10 years. Our target is to make it completely electric in the corporation by 2030. And we also convert all our old fleet, because we can't discard it. We have to make sure that our assets are not wasted, into CNG, and that is also environment friendly.
I would say 3 areas where I think there are the greatest of opportunities for us. Number 1 is Kolkata is the only city that I can think of 6 modes of transport. You have at least 5 or 6 different modes of transport in the city that are currently being used by various sections of the society in Kolkata. Intermodal connectivity between the different modes using NMT. Look at both the IT integration as well as the infrastructure integration between the modes, and then using cycling and walking as the safest mode and the fastest mode to connect between the existing 5 or 6 modes.
Non-motorized transport options in the context of better integration and connectivity within and across residential neighborhoods and networks as a solution to congestion and traffic, and importantly as a as a approach to integrating better with paratransit and public transport modes.
We find that even when we are doing cycling track and walking track, what you find that there are a lot of design faults, because these are largely seen as beautification projects and not done the way they need to be done. When you're talking about walking and cycling, you have to deal with all street activities. You cannot ignore parking, you cannot ignore hawkers, and they all will have to be brought within the design of the streets. Urban local bodies must conduct periodic walkability and cycling audits.
These are cities who are also really focusing on capacity building and institutional restructuring through formal training programs. Our engineering team does come with many years of mindset. I mean, it's extremely unfair for us to imagine them to sort of transform overnight, and hence training programs, site visits, all of them do help them as well. As we set up a department or hire other urban designers, urban planners.
Communications is important to identify the key stakeholders in the project and who you'd want to target, because it's always about who you want to talk to. It's important to sort of understand where people are coming from and understand their motivations and grievances.
So we've gotten the city to adopt a pedestrian policy. We've gotten the city to adopt urban street design guidelines. We've gotten the city to make a comprehensive bicycle plan. And these are not things that we did and gave to them. These are things that the city did. So our role was mainly to advocate for these things to be taken up by the city. The big problem with the way our roads have been designed is that they've been designed by engineers for cars, which are an engineering product. And a lot of that comes from that civil engineering expertise comes from highways, the way these engineers built highways. And a lot of the standards were also very highways dependent.
You cannot have a non-motorized transport friendly city without having streets which promote or which sustain this kind of an activity, walking and cycling. Our road owning agencies do not have the capacity to convert this vision into reality.
The economy, I think the environmental and the health benefits especially, if those are actually put forward as a key point every time any kind of initiative is brought up, I think that does bring out enthusiasm and participation from a lot of people.
There are problems with the traffic engineering at the moment, the carriageway widths, the intersections, and they are not designed. They're only designed for the vehicular. Both these disciplines have to come together, engineering and design fields, which will actually give us complete streets. So all of these, calls for, are the need for redesigning our streets. Urban streets needs to be looked at in a different way, the way we design highways. Urban city streets need much more engagement with the stakeholders who are there on the street, with the people who are using the street.
We have got to make it sustainable so that there is a total safety is achieved.